Welcome to the Simply Real Life podcast. I'm Sarah, the founder of Simply Real Health, here to help you simplify, amplify, and elevate your life. This show is for those of you who want the real talk on how to live a more intuitive and intentional life, a life that's healthy from the inside out, and one that feels more effortless, aligned, simple, and more alive. We cover it all, from health, wellness, mindset, motherhood, daily habits and rituals, to business and relationships, creativity and growth, and tiny tricks to feeling your best, and the energetics behind it all filled with personal stories, unfiltered conversations, and of course, answering all of your burning questions, all in the way of simplicity and keeping it real, so that you can create your own version of your healthiest life. Let's do it. Hi guys, welcome back to the show today. I am so happy that you are here. We've got a great question today, and this one goes out to all the parents out there because I know that there are a lot of you in this community, not everyone. So this episode is not for you. There's plenty of other ones to go listen to. But I was so taken by this question because to me, I guess I haven't thought too specifically about it until asked. And then turns out I do have a lot of opinions on this, or at least ways that I know for myself and for our family, ways that I feel strongly about. And so I thought I would share a little bit on this topic. So the question that came in was, do you ever feel pressure to keep your kids busy or well-rounded with sports and activities? And here's my answer. Maybe some of you can guess this, but no, I don't. I don't feel any type of pressure with my kids to have them be always busy, always in stuff. I actually feel the opposite. I feel like, especially when they are young, and take into context answering this question, my kids are 6, 3, and not even a year old yet. So they are still very much on the young side. But I feel like the priority when they are young is all about imagination and creativity and just play and having a lot of downtime and a lot of rest and not being rushed activity to activity. And I mean structured activity. That being said, I also think that it is great for them to try different things when it's age appropriate or when they have friends doing an activity. I think it's amazing, like what a gift to give them to be able to try some different things out and see what they like. And I think that's awesome. And so right now in this stage of life, like what we've done is picking one activity per season. Right now, it's just my oldest two. And with my 3-year-old, it's like, maybe 1 or 2 things that she tries during the year, not every season. She's still so little. So yes, I think it's great to have organized activities. They learn so much from that. But also there have been so many studies done around the idea of organized sports and keeping them busy with different activities, even if that's activities that I'm creating, like constantly on the go, that especially in the book, The Anxious Generation, he talks about how the stress that we put on our kids of like, hey, it's time to leave. Okay, we need to go. We're going to be late. We're going to do this. Like all of these things that keeps kids moving and without a lot of downtime or creativity or rest makes them anxious. It makes them stressed out and really takes away, I think, some of the magic of childhood of just free time and play and imagination. So that's something I do think about on the overall spectrum of things, is that I want them to have plenty of rest. I want them to feel relaxed in our home. I want their brains to not always be guided doing something like in a structured way, but have a little bit more open-ended time. And I was really inspired by this study that came out that actually showed that having more open-ended time is so much better for their brain development than even structured activities. So I love structured activities. I think they're great. I also think it's about knowing your kid. Like my 6-year-old is so social. He loves and craves being around people. He wants to be around friends all the time. He is happiest when he is with friends or doing activities. And that's, I think, also a part of this too, is learning that I may be wanting to have home time or downtime, but then also seeing, okay, but my child, the way that he's naturally wired, what a beautiful gift he has in that. And I want to help support that. So we do that in small ways. Like we pick one activity per season. Last year, he was trying t-ball or trying soccer. And it's these shorter stints of time, like 2 or 3 months at a time for the season. And then we move on and try something else. So I think yes, it's a great thing. I think exposure to so many different types of activity or types of sports or things that they want to try or things that they're interested in, I think is a beautiful thing to be supporting, but also not at the expense of your family, of the time that you have like together for dinner, or are you always on the go with sports? And different people feel different ways about this. And I think that there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what is going to work for your family. I know people who thrive and families who thrive constantly being on the go. And that's how they operate generally, because that's how the parents like to operate. And maybe I will change my mind on this later as my kids get older and as they get maybe more serious about one or two activities or one or two sports, or they get clear on the thing that they really like. Then we might go more in on that, or different leagues where they have more of a time commitment. I think that's a natural progression with age. But in answer to the question of, do I ever feel pressure to keep up with what other people are doing or what other families are doing? No, I don't. I actually don't really feel that way about most things in life. I don't feel pressure to keep up with friends, with what other people are doing, with the way that they run their family, with their schedule. I don't even think about it, to be honest. I am just thinking so much more of pouring my time and energy into the things, into my life, into my family, into my kids, into creating the environment and creating their childhood how I want it to feel, versus looking at what other people are doing. And I think that's just how I tend to roll with most things, even in my work, even in business. I don't spend a lot of time looking at what other people are doing in the same industry as me. I just don't. It's like, what is the point there? Keep your eyes on your own paper, keep following your own instinct, your own intuition, your own heart, your own soul. I think it's always leading us in a way. We know what feels in alignment to us and we know what doesn't. And I think that's probably taken a lot of work over the course of many, many years. And oddly enough, probably starting with food and being a little bit more present in my own body and learning about my body and things like my hunger signals and when I'm feeling different emotions, just being a little bit more in tune with myself enables me to be more in tune with my kids and more in tune with my family as a unit, and picking up on cues and watching their personalities and watching the ways that they light up, the ways that they seem to be happiest, the ways that seem to maybe stress them out or cause them to feel more anxiety maybe, or being pushed in ways that are not helpful for growth, and there's definitely ways to be pushed and being in uncomfortable situations that help with growth. So I think it comes down to just how intentional you are with yourself. You are the leader of your family if you are a parent. And so taking the cues, watching what's going on, sensing what's going on, spending time with your kids, I think that allows you to create a family environment of what is going to feel good for you. And like I said, I know I have many friends who love being on the go. They love, and that's the way they run their own lives. They love always being busy. They love packing their schedule. For me, I find that we just do one thing a day. Like if there's one extracurricular thing, whether that's somebody's game or it's a swim lesson or it's a dentist appointment, I don't pack the schedule. If we're doing something, it's one thing per day maximum, one activity. If it's a play date, like whatever it may be, it's one thing. I don't run back to back activities. I mean, sometimes that happens. And I know that as my kids get older, because there's 3 of them, there's obviously going to be a lot more running around and going from place to place based on if my 6-year-old has something, then the 3-year-old has something else. So I get it. This opinion may change, but as of right now, no, we really prioritize a lot of downtime, a lot of rest, a lot of imagination, a lot of play, a lot of creativity, or play dates when they're open-ended, or having friends over, or kids in the neighborhood where they're learning life skills, but it's not structured. But then, yes, trying to expose them to different activities and try this and see what you like. And do they have an interest in doing it is also a good indicator, not that we're just putting them in things, but like I will ask ahead of time, like, hey, do you have interest in trying soccer or interest in trying tennis or gymnastics, or, hey, a couple of your buddies are going to do this. Do you have interest? So that's kind of how I run things, at least right now in this season. I'm sure it will change with time, but no, I don't ever feel pressure to keep them busy. I think it's a great thing when they're not busy. it means that I have to, in some ways, of having activities or things that are open-ended for them to engage with. So that is the answer. I hope that this helps and maybe it inspires you to think a little bit more about what feels right in your family, what feels right for you, for your nervous system, for their nervous systems, and less about what other people are doing around you, less about feeling pressure or that they're behind or that they're not going to be good at sports. Who cares? But it is a really interesting thing, I think, to look at and get curious about because of what it may mean underneath. Do you feel in alignment yourself? Does your family feel in alignment with those and with your values? Or is it because other people are, or feeling pressure to do things in a certain way? I think anytime you feel pressure or comparison, it's a good indicator to look a little bit deeper and say, like, what about this doesn't really align to how I want to be or how I intentionally want to set up our life as a family, and the permission to try different things and see what does actually work versus what everybody else is doing around you. Okay, I love you. I hope you're having a great week. And thank you for these questions. If you have a question that you would love answered on this show, however short or in-depth it may be, come over and find me at Simply Real Health on Instagram. You can send me a message or a DM there. And I just always love knowing what's on your hearts, what's on your mind, things you want to talk about, getting maybe a different perspective on, and doing so in the context of wanting to live a healthier life, build a more intentional life, build a life that feels more in alignment to you, to your family, to your values, and to the way you want to create your life to be. I love you so much. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week. If you enjoyed this episode and want more like it, make sure you're subscribed to the Simply Real Life podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and maybe share it with a friend or two. That would mean the world.